I would like to welcome the alumni, distinguished judges, President Will Dudley, Rob Strawn, W&L trustee Larry Connolly, and of course, the student participants in the 2020 W&L Business Plan Competition. Students in the capstone course have gone through a rigorous 3-stage competition. Stage 1 started April 9th and entailed 16 alumni judges reviewing and evaluating their written business plans. Stage 2 took place last Friday night when students met with alumni judges on a video conference platform, oneclick.chat, provided by Alan Gibson and Dylan Myers. Alan and Dylan coincidentally launched oneclick.chat after meeting at W&L's Entrepreneurship Summit, a great story of multi-generational graduates working together. Thank you, Alan and Dylan, for graciously providing that platform. It worked great. Stage 3 has taken place over the last few days when our distinguished judges were joined by our general alumni community to review pitches, executive summaries, and business plans. I'd like to turn the call over to President Will Dudley. Will has just done a remarkable job of leading W&L through these unprecedented times. Thank you for being here today, Will.
I'm glad to be here, Jeff. Thank you for inviting me. I'd like to thank all the alumni who have participated, mentored our students, served as judges. To the students, I really miss having you on campus, and I am deeply sorry your senior year has been turned upside down. I am proud of you for hanging together and for forging ahead. And your participation in this event is a testament to that. This is a terrific event. I have loved attending it in person in recent years, and it's quintessential W&L. It's all about student initiative, student creativity, and student collaboration at its best. And I think that's even more true this year when you've had to operate in the virtual environment. So congratulations for that, and thank you for putting your energy and your effort into it. I'd also like to thank Professor Shea and Dean Strawn and our W&L trustee Larry Connolly for making all of this possible. So congratulations in advance to the winning teams. I am not privy to knowledge of who the winning teams may be, but I'm excited for you and to continue with the proceedings. I'm going to hand it off to Dean Strawn.
Thank you, President Dudley. Let me echo everything President Dudley just said. I want to point out something about Professor Shea that many of you may not know. 6 weeks ago or so, when we made the very tough decision to hit pause on our winter term and reconvene virtually a few weeks later, there were all kinds of folks running around trying to learn as much as they could about a mode of course delivery and learning on the part of the students that many of us were quite unfamiliar with. Almost overnight, Professor Shea had already reimagined this entire competition and started the wheels turning on ensuring that this competition did not itself become a casualty of this virtual world. And it's not a small task to deliver this sort of program with months of planning. For him to be able to pull this off with mere weeks of planning and incorporate the alumni volunteers in a meaningful way, as he has for many years now, and encourage the students to deliver their best work. I think it's a phenomenal effort and it deserves special commendation. So Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob.
I remember very clearly when I arrived at W&L 20 years ago, recognizing pretty quickly the role that experiential programming played in the Williams School. We've described it at times as being very much like the labs in the natural sciences. That's where our science colleagues take their students to do science. Well, our experiential programs within the Williams School, whether they be internship programs or field study trips or programs such as this have become the place where we take our students to do business, in this case, to do entrepreneurship. And Professor Shea picked up on that before he ever formally interviewed on campus. And in fact, that was evident in his interview when he came to visit campus for the very first time. And he's delivered on that. If you look at programs like the Entrepreneurship Summit, if you look at our internship programs that the Connolly Center has sponsored, if you look at the Connolly Entrepreneurship Society, he saw these threads running through our co-curricular programming and quickly found a way to adapt them to the unique subfield of entrepreneurship. And in fact, the very first of those that he launched was in fact this business plan competition. And I don't know if it's been discussed in this way, but by my count, this is the 10th annual business plan competition. So a bit of a milestone in its own right. And that brings us, I think, to the students who are and have been forever the most important part of this program. And as President Dudley noted, the perseverance that you all have shown in so many ways across your classes is so noteworthy. And I hope, in spite of all of the hardship that these last many weeks have presented many of us, I hope that in the end, this becomes a bonding moment in its own way for the class of 2020. There's been speculation that this unique experience that the entire class experienced at such a critical point in their journey through WNL may in the end bring them together in ways that will prove remarkable in the years to come. I certainly hope that's the case. I'd like to take the opportunity as well to introduce to you Larry Connolly. It's been noted that Larry is currently sitting as a member of the Board of Trustees at Washington and Lee, but his contributions go back many years before that and across some of our signature programs. He's been a significant contributor to both the Shepherd program and to the entrepreneurship program, which now bears his name. He's an exemplar for those of you who are students of a real servant leader, and his example is one that you would be wise to follow as you think about the advancement of your life beyond WNL. And not least, certainly, his gift to the university that helped underwrite what is now known as the Connolly Center is worth noting. Larry, thank you for your support, and I turn the mic over to you.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words. Welcome, my fellow generals. I'm very excited to hear the results of the competition as well. I too have a few acknowledgments, though. First to you, Will. Gosh, I don't know what you did in your former life to deserve what you've been facing the last few years, but surely you didn't deserve this. You may fancy yourself a philosopher or an academic or an administrator, but in my book, you can add entrepreneur to that list because you face a lot of curveballs since your short tenure on the campus. And we really appreciate your leadership, and we're very fortunate to have you at the helm during these challenging times. And I also want to echo the sentiments that you said about Dean Strong and Professor Shea. I can only imagine the audibles that you all have been called on to make on a daily, hourly basis as you adapt to your new environment. You have my admiration, and thank you and well done. I too want to thank the alumni who participated in the process. Jeff, how many voted?
I think we had 86 plus the 16 judges, so over 100.
That's very impressive. Obviously, that meant there was a significant commitment of time to evaluate the various plans. And plus the judges given up additional time to perform their mentorship. Very impressive. And then lastly, our students, our seniors, congratulations on all the hard work. I was really, really impressed with the overall quality and creativity of the various plans. They seem to get better and better every year. It's obvious you put a lot of thought and effort into developing your respective plans. And I am sorry you're not able to enjoy all that WNL has to offer as you wind down your collegiate experience. But just as every debit has a credit, adversity and trying times are not without opportunities. I've invested in a number of startups, including 2 with W&L connections. And earlier in the week, I touched base with 2 of them, thinking it was going to be dark and stormy clouds and a bleak report. Both of these, if I gave them some true serum and scotch, would say they've been in startup mode a little longer than they would have preferred. Not quite the hockey stick that is often accompanies these initial forecasts. But instead, both of them came back with a partly sunny report. One is in a textile industry and has pivoted and are making surgical masks with one of their third-party partners in the Far East. And the other firm, they help states identify potential underreporting in sales taxes. And after several years, they count their customer base as a pilot in one state. They're talking to a lot of people, but the states are slow to return the calls, and anybody who's had to try to get a state contract know how challenging that can be. Well, lo and behold, the phones are ringing and they're incoming, not outgoing. So who knows what's going to happen there. But in typical W&L fashion, making lemonade out of lemons, very impressive. And so once again, congratulations to all the students for their hard work and perseverance. Before I turn it back to Professor Shea, I do want to give one shout out to Donovan Fiore. He is slated to be the first W&L student to have a minor in entrepreneurship. So well done, Donovan. So Jeff, now back to you. Eager to hear the results. As I tried to handicap the competition, it looked to me like it was going to be a close race.
It's definitely a close race. Thank you again, President Dudley, Rob, and Larry, for participating in this. And thank you for the accolades. But as I think all 3 of you know, for me, the most important thing is the students. I appreciate the pat on the back, but, the students really, really inspire me, and more so than ever before this time around. As Dean Strong mentioned, this is the 10th annual business plan competition. To give you an idea of the data collected in order to come to the winner, there were actually 120 points of data gathered just from the judges for the competition for each one of the teams. So that was 8 judges evaluating 5 teams in their group and 15 different questions. And so it was a pretty rigorous process. This year, between the fall competition and the winter competition, it was our largest ever. We had 21 teams and 75 students competing. So it's pretty incredible how much it's grown, and I think we all like the results of where the program has come from. As a professor of all the students in this term's competition in particular, I'm just so proud of how you've excelled during these times. Your hard work and determination, as I said in class, Zoom class the other day, inspires me each and every day. I'd like to thank just a few people. I feel like this is the Academy Awards, but the reality is I think that it's important for the students to know that there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. First of all, Eric Owsley and your team, thank you so much. You're doing so much. And as I said to you the other day, I just enjoy every time I have a crazy idea like this one to make sure it continues, because I know that you get excited and you're very entrepreneurial and your communication team. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank George and Marion Higgs, whose generous gift provides the prize money for the competition. Taylor Bryant for her work on putting the videos together and logistics and all her work with the entrepreneurship program. Will and Rob, I know you cast the downward praise, but I will say that none of this is possible because you guys could have just said, no, you're not doing it. Put the brakes on, and to have such supportive administrators is fantastic. Larry Connolly, it's been a gas since working with you when you judged a business plan competition, got hooked on what we were doing, probably 8 years ago now. And thank you so much for your support. The distinguished judges, as I sent an email today to Matt Langen, he was asking about some extra stuff that he wanted to do. And I said, geez, I already hired you without pay for the last week and a half to judge all these business plans, read them, evaluate, and it just kept on coming. Now you've got to watch 10 videos. Now you've got to, but thank you so much for all the hard work that you did. And then, as I said before, thanks, most of all, thank you to the students. Just for being so exceptional. It is truly, and you know me well enough after a term of the rigor I put you through, I don't pass out compliments too frivolously, but it is truly an honor to be your professor. And now, just like the Academy Awards, we'll finally get to the part that we've all been waiting for. So as I said before, each one of the teams, there was 120 data points plus the voting by the general alumni population at large. And not to downplay the significance of the top 3 teams, but I do want to say, like, the competition was neck and neck all the way through. In fact, as I was talking with Larry Connolly earlier today, 6 of the teams were in the top 3 in any one of the different stages of the competition, which to me speaks to the remarkable work that you're doing. And the judges' feedback has been just incredible across the board. And the ideas, as I've talked with Larry again yesterday, the ideas are real, and we see our students, shout out to Dietz Hoffman, took his business plan, tweaked it a little bit, and now he's off and running with Leaf and Grain down in the Houston area. But they're real ideas that these students come up with. And I guarantee you, if you haven't had a chance to look at the videos yet, if you look at them, within the next 5 years, if it's not our students, somebody will be raising venture capital to pursue these ideas. They're that good. And our students, from the judges' words, not mine, all of these were executable. It's just a matter of finding money from the right investor. So with all of that behind us, now for the results. The third place team, taking home a $1,000 prize to be divided amongst the team members, is, drum roll, Bar Tab. The second place team, taking home a $2,000 prize to be divided amongst the team members, is Glacier Skincare. And the first place team, taking home a $4,000 prize to be divided among the team members, is Uglies. So congratulations to the top 3 teams, and really congratulations to everybody else. As I told the students earlier, that if you looked at the individual judges' scores, there were advocates for each of the 10 plans. There was some judge that said, I want to invest, or these students are going to do this. And so it was just really remarkable. I look forward to seeing you all at the Entrepreneurship Summit and to hearing of your many successes in the future. And remember, true to my promise, when you get to town, you know what to call me, what to call about, because we will go out and celebrate. Be safe and be well, everybody in the W&L community. Thank you so much, and good night.